sent to some training, and while I was there, I came across a desk that had a whole bunch of information about a project, and it turned out to be the Harvard Project on American Indian Economic Development, based out of the John F. Kennedy School of Government there at Harvard University.
Okay.
And I began to look at some of the papers, and there was a nice gentleman sitting there. He actually happened to be Dr. Joseph Kalt, who was one of the founders. And I began to look at all the stuff out there, and he smiled. And this was early on in the project when he still went out and did a lot of the active recruiting and sat at the booths and chatted with people. And I began to look at the research, and ultimately the Harvard Project on American Indian Economic Development came out of conversations with political economists there at the Kennedy School. So understanding economics, but as well the politics that were behind everything, which includes governmental structures, et cetera. And one of the first papers was called Reloading the Die, as in dice in a game.
Okay, yeah.
And it basically illustrated the whole question of the project, which is why do some tribes do better than others?
Mm-hmm.
And so I looked down and I said, well, I'm from two tribes, and the one that's not doing so well is like the Omahas, and the other one is my dad's tribe, the Cherokee Nation.
Sure.
He nodded and he says, that's exactly what we're trying to study. And so I said, hey, I would like to learn more about this. And so he kind of giggled and smiled and says, well, that's great. And I said, what would be the best way to learn more? And he said, well, if you applied to our master's program and got in, then maybe I could help you. And I'm sure it seemed a long shot to him. And I said, okay, because I already got into the business school. And he paused. I didn't realize at the time how few Native peoples went to the business school there at Harvard. And he said, excuse me? And I said, yeah, I got into the business school, and I'm supposed to be going next fall. And he said, okay, yeah, you should apply. And I did.
Perked up a little bit?
Yep. And I did, and was admitted, and I got
That's
a
awesome.
fellowship to study both. So that was the beginning of my professional career. And of course, after business school, I got really intrigued with what I had studied, and had gone over to Europe and worked for a few years. And
Thanks for checking out the Prairie Farm Podcast. For more content like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And for full episodes, check us out on any major podcast streaming service.